What up, friends? Welcome to Nerd Report. This is Lewis, and I'm back on the camera after feeling a little bit under the weather. I hope you all are having a great Thursday evening. As I see some of you already in the chat, keep the conversation going. Tammy, Renee, Fuzz, Jules, Wendy, what's up? How you doing, everybody? How you doing? Let's get those likes up as we do today's video. Today's live, man. We got a couple things to review and talk about, and one of them is the passing of Gene Hackman. How you doing, Emily? Gene Hackman, one of my favorite actors growing up. True Hollywood. We'll talk about that in a little bit. True Hollywood. Gene Hackman. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Epstein list. Probably looks a lot like a like a Rickroll, like a scam, a nothing burger. We'll talk about that. And also the Menendez brothers, the family held a press conference. We'll go over that and probably watch it, react to it, and comment over it. Nana, how you doing, Nana? What's up, Ann, Emily, everybody coming on in here. So let's start with this, folks. Gene Hackman, and I don't like that background, but oh well. Gene Hackman, a couple things about him is that, you know, first and foremost, he is gone. He's passed away. Him and his wife were discovered this morning, and now it's considered a suspicious something suspicious act, and everything. So, or possibly a specific suspicious thing going on with that. It sounded weird from the beginning, but before we get into that, what is if you're a little older, you probably know Gene Hackman pretty well. He retired from acting because he had some stress problems, I believe, and stuff. I remember him as one of my, one of the movies I used to watch over in a loop over and over again was Superman the movie, 1978, and then Superman 2. He played Lex Luthor. And also, I really love that movie. He was in Uncommon Valor. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, he was one of my favorites as well. This is old school. And their dog was dead too. So yeah, this is one of the old school actors. This is old Hollywood. This is when it was difficult to be a celebrity, an actor. Gene Hackman was doing his thing. So there we got Gene Hackman winning his Academy Award, Lex Luthor. So I remember him from Superman and Uncommon Valor. Uncommon Valor is amazing. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. It's like a Vietnam, go back and rescue the POWs film. It was very, very, very good film. And here you have let me see if you can see a picture of him. A little bit here. His health obviously deteriorating. 95, looks great for that. French Connection, another one. Some people suspected a gas leak and everything with what happened, but either way, it's kind of sus. Look, it needs to be before we lead. It could have been just an accident, and when the story comes out, when all the facts come out, we need to accept what it was. And that just we thought it was on purpose. So we're going to stick with that idea. And that's one problem with the true crime community. Now, there are a few things here that are weird. But they kind of ruled out gas leak. Doors were open and everything. But we're going to go over some videos and see if we can get more things. What do you mean you never said that, Jules? What are you talking about? I didn't say you just said something. But the wife was found deceased in another room The dog was found deceased. We saw some people saying that the dog was in another room. So what is going on here? That doesn't sound normal. I think the weirdest thing is that no one, where's his friends and family? No one, because it took a time before the bodies were discovered. That is weird. They didn't kill Lex Luthor. Come on. So that is weird, right? That it took time before the body was found. In my opinion, that's strange. You have more of the outlets talking about it. Gene Hackman, wife and dog found ended under suspicious circumstances. Now, look, when this was initially reported, it was no suspicious circumstances at all. And it was just a tragedy. When I heard it, it was probably, I thought it was something natural, natural death, until I started hearing this, like where the bodies were placed allegedly. But now it's being called suspicious by people. All right. And we're going to go over this report together and react to it. Let me know if you could hear this, folks, in the comments.
We're following breaking.
Could you hear that? Not a bot has arrived. Thank you so much, Jennifer. So did you guys hear the lady? Okay. So initially not suspicious circumstances. Now we're getting suspicious circumstances. At least according to some people. Let's see if we agree.
We're following breaking news developments in the deaths of actor Gene Hackman and his wife, with investigators now calling those deaths suspicious.
Okay. I gotta pause this for commentary, and I also have commentary about it, and I also encourage you all to have your opinions be heard in the comments. It would be devastating, in my opinion, for Gene Hackman and his wife, especially Gene Hackman, lasting 95 years, and then this was an ending on purpose by someone or a victim of a crime. I would hate to think that happened.
You're taking a look at some file video of the couple, and I wanted to share the very latest as.
And don't forget, his wife has passed too. This is a lovely lady here to the right of him, left of us.
Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman was found dead alongside his wife, who was a classical pianist, as well as their dog in their Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Now, alongside the wife, that kind of implies that they were next to each other, like right next to each other, maybe sleeping together. And I heard it wasn't like that, but I mean, there's still evidence coming out.
To go home Wednesday afternoon. Now, a search warrant affidavit obtained by Fox News Digital revealed that Hackman's wife was found decomposed. And
trigger warning after you heard it, right? Decomposed. That means they've been there for a while. It's a horrific scene. Horrific scene. It must have been. I mean, for the investigators, right? An ending S. I don't know.
I want to preface this by saying what I'm about to share is disturbing to possibly some of you. She was found decomposing with bloating on her face and mummification.
That means this was for a while. This was happening for a while. Before this happened, this incident, whatever caused this, was going on for maybe a couple weeks, right?
In her hands and feet. Hackman was also found to have the same signs of decomposition as his wife. Detectives believe that the circumstances surrounding the death of Hackman and his wife are suspicious.
Now, they are suspicious at the moment. They weren't, this was not reported earlier. This was not reported earlier as a suspicious act, or if the motives were suspicious, or if anything, it was just like, and yeah, Parker, it's very strange. No one called them. Was Gene Hackman and his wife that much of loners? Maybe they were. Maybe they were. I stopped hearing about them, several years ago, right? They thought it was a gas leak, but now they're like overruling that. What's up, Ann?
Enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation.
Thorough search and investigation does not mean that it was foul play, but
When two Santa Fe County Patrol deputies arrived at the scene, they walked to the front of the residence, and that is when they found the front door slightly open.
that's weird. Front door slightly open. Home invasion type of thing. I don't leave my door slightly open. Now, the house was massive. I believe I saw a picture of it. Any signs of violence? I don't know. They're not going to be releasing everything, right? They're going to be taking time before they release all the information. This is just a fraction. They may know more than they're leading on.
They did not observe any signs of forced entry into the home. That is according to the warrant. After they entered the residence, they immediately observed a bathroom to the left of the front door. The door of the bathroom was opened, and that is where they discovered the body of Hackman's wife lying.
So she was away from him. She's on the left. You go in the door, turn left, and you got the bathroom.
Lying on the ground. An orange prescription bottle was also found near her body.
Orange prescription bottle of medication. Now, it's not uncommon for older people to be on 500 medications. You know, he was 95 and he also had some kind of condition from a while back. So it's weird. She had a bottle. Like, it's going to make people's imagination go wild, right? This is going to make people's imagination go wild. By the way, folks, stay on. I do have a Menendez brothers update. And I also that Epstein list. It's kind of like a joke right now. It's stupid. But yeah, when you go to the doctors and they give you prescription, it is a yellow bottle, right? It's always like that.
Body, and the bottle appeared open with pills scattered on the countertop.
The body was open. So that, again, imagination goes nuts. Imagination goes nuts here, right? Am I wrong? It's like a coming into a movie, you know?
Police said that she showed obvious signs of death, body decomposition, bloating in her face, and mummification in both hands and feet. A deceased dog was also found near her body in a closet of the bathroom, but two healthy dogs were also.
Why is there a dog in the closet of the bathroom? Press 1 if you think that's weird as hell. I could almost see that maybe they were both feeling sick and they went to go and get meds, or she went to go and get medication for herself and it was too late and she was somehow taking care of Hackman and then he passed away later. But then there's the dog in the bathroom. It's even weird to have a closet in the bathroom. I don't know. The entire thing is weird.
found on the property, one running loose and the other seen near Hackman's wife's body. The warrant stated that there were, quote, no obvious signs of a gas leak, and that was an earlier conjecture that perhaps they passed away from carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, Santa Fe County Sheriff Mendoza confirmed with Fox News Digital separately that the gas company and fire department additionally responded to make sure there were no toxic fumes that would endanger the deputies during their search. And
okay, but if there were fumes, so obviously this happened a long time ago, maybe a week or two, but if there were fumes, wouldn't those fumes have dissipated after a few days? Right? Now, I know there's an autopsy going on now.
And the New Mexico Gas Company is working with the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department in this investigation. During their initial investigation, the sheriff did not discover any visible trauma on Hackman or his wife and said they could have been victims of a double homicide, suicide, accidental death, or natural causes.
Okay, none of it's out there. None of it's confirmed, but they're giving you the 3 or 4 speculations, right?
Accidental death or natural causes.
What is an accidental death?
Victims of a double homicide.
Double homicide. The dog in the closet's the only thing I think is someone comes in there and hides the dog in the closet. You don't think the other 2 dogs would be alive if it was a gas leak? The dog in the closet, from the information we have now, okay? And when the authorities come back and give me more information and say it's not what I think it is, I'm going to accept that. I'm not, but double homicide, the dog inside the closet is the weird part. That would kind of give me that idea. And the door being slightly open. The door slightly being open, man. Outside. That's weird.
Suicide, accident.
Aside, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because there's 2 dogs alive, right?
Death or natural causes. Hackman was 95 years old at the time of his death. His wife, 63. The office confirmed that the cause of death has not been determined as of yet, and the investigation.
That's going to be important. The cause of death is going to be important.
Is still ongoing. Sheriff Mendoza telling Fox News Digital that an autopsy is scheduled for today. So the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office telling Fox News Digital, quote, on February 26 at approximately 1:45 p.m. local time, Santa Fe County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to an address on Old Sunset Trail in Hyde Park, where Gene Hackman, 95, and his wife, Betsy, 64, and a dog were found deceased.
What is everyone's thoughts? What are everyone's thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. I don't want to take away anything from current movie stars, but when you think Gene Hackman, man, you think real movie stars, right? Like, at least maybe for my generation, it's a mystery. Celebrity deaths come in threes this week. Celebrity deaths come in threes. Has anyone else died this week other than, well, who is it? Yeah, the writer from Star Trek. Star Trek writer passed away 2 days ago. want to know the cause of death? The heater falling? What do you mean, Ian? I'm going to reserve my opinion until the autopsy is released. Yeah, I get you. You know, look, I'm not going to lie. What I'm doing here with this is like, it's a conversation that everyone's having, behind closed doors. Hey, Gene Hackman passed away. I loved him and this, that. And these are the circumstances that the media is telling us he passed away with or were. And people are having the discussion. People are having the discussion right now is what happened, what really happened. And that's what we're doing here, I believe. Then there's the thing Jules is bringing up, which is the facts. The facts will come out, hopefully, just for our curiosity. And we got to accept the facts when they come out. And I know this is probably going to be taken by the true crime community because it seems like a crime thing. But one thing I'm not going to do here is, I think this happened to them. And then when the facts come out saying that I was wrong, I'm not going to continue pushing that narrative. And that's why it's very important to reserve your opinion until facts are out, the autopsy is released and everything like that, right? But is it suspicious? Yeah. Are people at the privacy of their own homes talking about how suspicious this is? 100%. The girl from Buffy passed. Yeah, that's terrible. What's up, D Nice? What's up, Miss Kim? Most heaters have an emergency shut off, but they can stop working. Mine did. Yeah, look, here's the deal. Gene Hackman, regardless of what the news is moving forward, he's gone. And again, it would be insanely awful if this was foul play. A treasure like him being foul play is just ridiculous. By the way, on a lighter note, I want to thank Popcorn Planet's raid. What's up, Popcorn Planeteers? My name is Lewis. I'm right here. Hola. Thank you. Great show over there at Popcorn Planet and stuff. And we're going to be talking today about Gene Hackman's passing, the Epstein list, which is total bullcrap, it seems like. And we have an update with the Menendez brothers. So if you're coming from Popcorn Planet, what is up, everyone? Shelly, I see you guys all coming on here. Thank you, Andy, once again, supporting the channel. We're on vertical view. We will be switching it to Rosano pretty soon and going back and forth. Again, Gene Hackman, Hollywood royalty, found dead last night or yesterday with his wife and his dog. Sounds like terrible. 95 years old. Where do you remember him from? Do you remember him? For me, it was Lex Luthor. For me, it was Uncommon Valor. For me, it was an actor who really could be a serious actor, a dramatic actor, and had a sense of comedy to him. Right? He was great. And there's these circumstances, and I think what people are going to be talking about a lot moving forward was there foul play, especially with the initial reports were that no, there's no foul play. And now we're getting reports that things are suspicious. By the way, thank you, Sabrina, for the 10 gifted memberships supporting Nerd Report. Hearts for you. Hearts for you, Sabrina. Thank you, Sabrina, for that. The support here on Nerd Report. And Gene Hackman's from the era where it was very difficult to break into Hollywood. A lot of people break into Hollywood nowadays, and I think a lot of studios will hire you if you have a big social media just to get the free press. You know what I mean? You could see Gene Hackman, Fragile State, 95, actually quit acting a long time ago. Very private person. I had to, oh my gosh. Emily, thanks for that gifted membership as well, Emily. Thank you. Post those emojis in the comments, folks, if you are a member. Could always use your support, folks. Also, don't forget to subscribe. So that's him, his wife, the dog, all gone. 2 dogs survived. Again,
of the couple.
Now being thought as a suspicious event, very gruesome, very, very heartbreaking, and stuff. So it's just terrible. Thank you so much, Anne, for that 10 gifted memberships here on Nerd Report. Thank you, Anne, for that. Thank you, Anne, for supporting the channel, and everyone who's here, make sure to sub. Now, if you just got here to the channel, you could also rewind or back, watch this video from the beginning, so you get a little bit more of my tribute to Gene Hackman and stuff as we move forward. We're going to be talking about the Menendez brothers in a bit. I want Anne, give Anne some hearts in the comments, please. Thanks for the support again. Yes, he was 95. Now, let's move forward to this. The Epstein list. What in the F was this? Now, look, I didn't think there was going to be a list. I don't think there is a list. Honestly, I don't think there's an actual list of clients. I think there's FBI files and investigation files that should be released to the public. But this thing is actually a nothing burger. And I don't know what Trump was thinking here. What is the method to the mayhem here and everything? So he's being criticized by all sides, and that's what I like, that he is being criticized by conservatives as well, instead of pretending everything's fine when it's not. And I think that is really a plus. Sorry. And when people say that no conservative or MAGA supporter is actually questioning Trump, show them to Google. Everyone's questioning with this Epstein list. You got social media influencers taking selfies and happy. Now look, they got whatever the file is, and they walked out of the White House. The 12 handpicked social media influencers. I didn't like it when Biden did that. You know what I mean? Biden would pay social media influencers to TikTokers, go in there and then push his narrative. He did that. So you can call that out. Okay. But anywho, it was 12 picked. I don't know exactly who picked these 12 people. I believe there was 12. They come out of the White House. They're holding the files, which is mostly, from what I heard, the same shit we've already heard before. And they're smiling and they're giggling and they're laughing. Now, I know why they're doing that, because it marks a success to their brand. But they are also not realizing that this list is a fucking serious matter. The abuse is a serious matter. So I know why they're doing that. I almost don't want to call the influencers bad names. They're big time now. So they're big time, they're happy, but that's blinding them to the fact that those files are a serious matter, because there's victims involved. of serious shit. But they're taking a selfie like, look, I got it. It's like a trophy. And this comes from not being experienced in the press. Thanks for liking and sharing, Wendy. Veteran press people would not have come out with that list smelling for selfies. They wouldn't have. Thousands of pages missing. They're blaming the FBI. I don't know what's going on. I don't think there's an actual list in there like we want it to be. I don't even think when they release the JFK files, it's going to be that big a deal. I don't. I believe the government knows a little bit more than we do. I don't even think if they release UFO files, there's going to be much to it. Let's look at this lady here. She got a hold of the file there. She's pissed off too, or upset. Let me know if you can hear this.
You should be thankful right now for Attorney General.
How is this Trump's fault? Could I explain why it's Trump's fault? Look, I don't know. This is what my perception right now, Jules and everyone, okay? I believe he's the head honcho in charge. But I also believe that there was a publicity thing involved around we're going to release a list Thursday, which is today. And then for that list to be a nothing burger is weird. So is it his fault there's no list? I don't know. But I do think he knew what the list had, what they were going to release today had or didn't have. So for him to tell his people to keep blowing and publicizing, I don't blame him. Hold on a second. Hold on. The list is not his fault. What's his fault is allowing his people to make a big deal out of a nothing burger. That's what I'm saying. It makes him look bad. It's not changing my mind on a lot of his policies, though. He's way better than the last guy, if you ask me. It's not the end-all, say-all. Remember, when you're back a politician, you're going to disagree with them. This move right here to blow smoke up the list's ass, and then it was nothing there. If you lost me, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Here's the deal. I'll explain it one more time. I may be wrong. Correct me in the chat. But if his group, his administration is pushing that tomorrow we're going to be releasing the list and more information. This is big. This is the biggest thing ever. And then it comes out and there's nothing in it. That's kind of a PR nightmare. It's a mess. Am I saying this wrong? Maybe I cannot explain myself. Maybe I cannot. And I'm not like, you don't see how it's Trump's fault? Pam, isn't it Pam? Okay, but Pam Bondi is under Trump's orders. She represents, if I am the leader of Nerd Report, Jules, and you come in as a co-host and I give you orders to say something, you know, everything you say, everything you report on is authorized through me. You know what I mean? That's the way I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? In this instance, I think he did the wrong thing. From what I understand. Now I'm going to keep looking at the evidence and see. I may change my mind tomorrow. and stuff. But you know what I mean? The actions. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not able to explain myself correctly, but people have been waiting for this list for a very long time. Is it Trump's fault about them taking a selfie? No. No. There's been a lot of times that we've been reporting about P. Diddy. And we crack jokes. There's memes out there about the baby oil, allegedly, or everything that happened allegedly. And people laugh at it. It's just as bad as what the allegations here. You want to come in, Jules? You could explain yourself. I don't mind. I'm dropping a link. I think this instance right here, it makes Trump look bad. Because he's the leader. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean I dislike him or I hate him completely, you know? He just did one. That's it. We got to learn that you disagree with, sometimes people disagree with politicians. You know? That's just the way it is. You can call in on your phone. People disagree and stuff like that. So let's see what this lady says.
General Pam Bondi and
Can you hear this? Yeah, call in with your phone, Jules.
FBI Director Kash Patel and President Trump for doing what they promised and releasing this. You should be doubly grateful, that you should be thankful right now for Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel and President Trump for doing what they promised and releasing this. You should be doubly grateful that the way that they're releasing this to the American people and exposing this corruption is through the new media. It's through us. We're doing it. That's one of the most encouraging and fantastic things that we've seen from the Trump administration.
I saw this lady. She had a actually I don't know where the hell it went now. God dang it! She had a tweet opening the file she got. She's happy with it, man. I mean, what could I say? Oh, here we go. Now, this is something. Okay. This guy, I don't know who he is. Okay, he says, I'm actually not feeling grateful right now and won't, Liz. Instead, I'm annoyed this thing has turned into a confusing mess. All right. It is what it is. I think people are very I think Pam Bondi backs Scientology. Is that where'd you read that? Fucking the Huffington Post? Come on, guys. Seriously. You know, hey, Bill Clinton gave Scientology their tax exempt status it was under his watch. Could you talk about that, Brandon?
I'm live. Hey guys. Tim, let me know when it's up and running.
Could you hear her?
It says it's live. We should be live. Okay.
First of all, look, guys. Most people that are conservative are Christian. Can we agree on that? A lot. Well, let's say a lot of people that are conservative are Christian. Can we agree on that? Press 1 if you agree. Okay. Scientology is not Christian. So miss me with that shit. Whoever's trying to put that narrative in there, I was born at night, but not last night. Get out of here. Anyways, Jules, welcome to the show.
Hi, Lewis. How are you?
Good. You had a few questions and stuff about the situation. Maybe we could clear it up as we we could actually not type.
Yeah. My thing is that I've just been seeing a lot of flack everywhere on people blaming the president for
the president's
what
Trump.
happened. Yeah, the president is Trump. I think we all know who the president is, but blaming this on him, and I don't understand why it's his fault. I feel like it lies at the feet of Pam Bondi, and also who made the decision on who was going to get the actual documents. So I'm kind of confused where that's concerned as well, because
good question.
Why only a select group of people got these documents?
Well, let's address the 3. And I'm Cuban. I could talk a lot. So listen, your first thing is it falls on Pat Bondi, right?
That's how I feel. Yes.
I don't feel that way. I think it all falls on the leader. Okay. And I also feel that since Trump is blamed for so many things that are just BS, that when he does do BS, a lot of supporters are protective of him. He's not perfect.
No, he's not.
A lot of his supporters are frustrated because, for example, after 40 years of the Democrats saying release the JFK files, the only fucker that does it is Trump. Now it's a bad thing to do.
Well, those are the one. That's the one.
Right?
I know people will disagree. Yes, and people will disagree with me on that. But that's the one I want.
But it's a Democrat position. It's been forever.
I want JFK and MLK and RFK's files. Yes, is the Epstein ones important? Yes, they absolutely are important.
Well, let's move a little bit slower. So your second thing was, what is the second point you brought up? How is it Trump's fault, you said?
Well, yeah. And Lewis,
he's the leader. He's like the general in a battle. Well, he's the commander in chief, but he's like let's say a boxing match, right? The boxer is sent out by his coach. His coach is directing the fighter to fight a certain way. So what if he gives him bad advice? It's kind of the coach's fault. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Now, in regards to this list, I do feel that it's going to be a lot of nothing burgers. I don't think there's a list. I think that's something we made up because we want everything to be like a movie where there's like the list has, your favorite person you hate on it. That's what we want. You know what I mean? So I think I told you earlier via a text message. This is I think it was settled a couple of years ago that there's no list. There's an investigation that mentions people.
Yes, you did. We did discuss this earlier today.
Yeah. So there's no list hey, this other. I don't think someone that's committing a crime like Epstein and his witch wife are really people that are going to be holding hey, dude, we have a automated list here so we could keep tabs on the client and call them on the phone. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? We have a 2-for-1 special. I don't think that's happening because it's too much of a breadcrumbs to leave in the trail, right? But I do feel for example, there was I'm not going to go over this woman's thing, but she does. I saw it earlier. She does mention that it seems like there was a consistency of pilots. I mean, there was one pilot transferring everybody.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard as well. Yes.
So that guy, if he testifies, that pilot, he's going to have the names of everyone that was on the plane or on the jet or whatever, right? So that's
on the private
that's going to be probably
yes.
mentioned in the file. So that's what I'm saying. And what was your other concern? I'm sorry, I forgot. You talked too fast.
I don't remember now, but yes, they're going to definitely have the names of all the pilots, and the pilots would be able to say what passengers were, and not only that though, the pilots have to do a flight plan, and they have to log the names and how many passengers were on the plane. So that's it. I mean, I don't understand what else is going to be, in there until
apparently there is sorry to interrupt you. Apparently there is a Pat Bondi Church of Scientology thing. I'll look at that later, man.
I never heard it tonight. Somebody put it in the chat, and today was the very first day I ever heard.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is true, but I mean, Bill Clinton, they got tax exempt during Bill Clinton, and no one cared about that. Now we're going to pretend we care about this, please. It's like selective outrage. Look, here's the deal. I think this looks bad. I think you said who are the 12 reporters or whatever?
Oh yeah, the select few that were given this, before it went out today. One, I saw the name on Fox, and his name was, I believe it was Randy Handling, and and it says Instagram influencer. I mean, like, really?
Well,
come on.
Yeah, no, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword, what you're saying right there. Number one, access to the White House has always been limited. So it's not like everyone. I've never been in there. I mean, have you? During the press conference? So to say that, why? I don't understand that weird argument that like these 12 people got in and why only them? Well, why is NBC, ABC, they're part of, if it's not this 12, it's that 12. There's always going to be a limit. That's number one. And if you really do want the people, like vloggers, like a lot of people come on here and say, look, I get my news on YouTube. I get it from you. If you really want that, it's going to look like that, Jules. It's going to look like a person on, like you said, on Instagram with 100,000 subs or whatever. It's not going to look as nice and prestigious as a Fox studio or an CNN studio. So it's like, if you want this, it's not going to look, that's the way it's going to look. It's going to look like I had the files. If I get the files, if I would have had the files, for example, what the fuck? I have like zombies behind me, like movie memorabilia in the back. They would have been talking shit about me too. Like, who is this guy? Right?
Yeah.
So everyone gets in there. I do think they were happy to be part of it, and they took a selfie, and it's inappropriate, and it's a lesson to be learned for them that depending on the subject matter, you shouldn't you have to be presentable. You can't take a selfie picture looking all happy like you won the lottery, and we're talking about a goddamn file that has potentially hundreds of victims in there, right?
Right. And see,
also,
that's
there's
why
things about the AP being removed. I couldn't give a crap. Good. They're using, they're kind of mocking. AP's been removed. Some of us never got invited. So who died?
Yeah, I didn't get invited, and I have a press
Yeah, who
pass.
Biden made the AP. They don't like the AP because they don't use the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, they don't use the Gulf of America word. That's why. And you know what? Trump's rivals change names of things all day. So miss me with that shit. Politically correctness. Let's call Latinos Latinx.
That's so dumb. I mean, that is like the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah. So for them to say, hey, we've been calling it the Gulf of Mexico all these years, and now we're going to change the name to the Gulf of America, we're so upset. You fuckers called me Latinx. You still do.
I know.
Yeah, shove that up your ass, dude. You know, if you want to play the game. I'm going to call it probably the Gulf of Mexico because that's what I remember.
Well, that's me too. I mean, Gulf of America, I'm sorry, but it sounds dumb. Gulf of Mexico.
But guess what? If I go to a press conference in LA, they refuse to call the homeless. They call them the unhoused.
I know. I don't understand that either.
And if I call them homeless, they will kick me out for being disrespectful. Does it make a difference, homeless or unhoused? No.
No.
It's the fucking issue, you know? Shelly says Latinx is stupid. It is.
It is stupid. But look, a virtual tourist, look at what a virtual tourist said.
Where is it?
Right below Shelly.
That's okay. That's wrong too, Lewis. You don't prove them wrong by joining them, dude. I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Jules?
The Gulf of America, I believe a virtual tourist is referring to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's just a name. I don't really care. It's just a name, but you know.
It does. I mean, yes, the Gulf does. America does encompass the Gulf, but it's always been referred to as the Gulf of Mexico. So,
okay, no. You posted this, so I'm gonna reply to it with all due respect. No one's laughing at America. I get calls from Canadians that want to be the 51st state. They're like, "Thank God for the Orange Man." I got people from Europe. I'm surprised how many people like the government we have right now. I'm shocked.
On my Twitter page, I've got.
And they're not even America. They're not even from America. You know who's telling you everyone's laughing at you? Kamala Harris's campaign.
I get that too, Lewis. With the majority of my followers are from the UK, Australia, Scotland, you know, and they all say, yeah, they're not laughing.
No, I get my biggest people from Australia. They're like, dude, don't shoot the messenger here. I'm just telling you what I see, what I've seen, and I deal with a lot of people. And also, I got to also address this because I'm kind of on fire right now. I don't give a fuck who laughs at us. All right? I don't give a fuck if my neighbor laughs. That's on them. They don't pay my bills. I don't care. Why does everyone care if people laugh at you? You do you, boo. It doesn't influence me nothing who laughs at me. I don't give a shit. Plenty of people have been laughed at for their lifestyles. Do you guys condone that? So I don't get the argument is that we're the laughing stock. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't care who laughs at us. We do us.
Yeah. I don't care either.
No.
You got to have thick skin. If you don't have thick skin and let it roll off you, then you might as well pack things in.
There's no directing. There's no laughing at. Some people don't look. Renee, I'm going to say some people do laugh at Trump. A lot of people don't. And I think there's a problem if we had for the last 4 years we had an elected president who medically couldn't even walk, and you're choosing Trump to laugh at? Okay. And then we got a lady that went up against him, who everyone calls a genius and can't put two words together coherently.
No, she only knows how to cackle.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, that's laughable. I mean, that could be considered laughable too. You know what I mean? Put someone else up better, and then maybe, you know, we could talk. Look, and Renee, again, with all due respect, when other countries hate us, that means we're doing the right thing. That means the gravy train's over. All right. When you stop giving away money, people don't like you, but that's my experience. Even YouTube, right? I love YouTube, but when they stop showing my videos, I hate YouTube because I don't make a living. So, again, I don't care what other countries say. It's my country. Too bad. I don't care. As a matter of fact, when they laugh, when I hear that, it makes me feel more confident we're in the right path. Anyways, Menendez brothers. You want to stay for that?
Oh, did you see the family's press conference today?
Well, there's this thing. It's 18 minutes. I don't know. This is like a recap. I don't know if I want to go through all this.
Is that the recap of Newsom?
No, this is the thing. This is what the DA posted, like a recap of the entire thing.
Oh.
But it has music. I don't want to do it.
Oh,
but
if it's got music, you'll get dinged.
Maybe. And
that's the cousin.
Okay, so this is the cousin of the Menendez brothers?
Yes.
Yes. What side?
They had one from each side. The lady with the gray hair and glasses is the cousin from the mom's side. She's the cousin from the dad's side.
Okay, well, let's update everybody a little bit on there. I'm gonna try to, and you tell me if I'll lead, and if I missed anything. Okay, Menendez brothers, 1989. I'm not gonna go through the entire case. Okay, these two guys were accused of ending their mother and dad. And that is actually something they were found guilty of. Circumstances are questionable. There's been accusation of SA through their lives and it's been used as a reasoning. Last year there was a documentary released, brought attention back to the case. As a matter of fact, it helped their case. A lot of people are wanting the two brothers to be let go. There's two arguments from what I've seen. One is the dad was an evil F and they had a reason for doing it. And then the other one is they spent too much time already in prison. They've done their work and they're now good citizens, so they deserve to be let go. My thing right now, my stance is, I don't know about the SA accusations. I don't know, but I think they should stick with, I've spent a lot of time in prison. We've done our time. Let us go. I think that's a better argument to do because these guys do have a history of lying, in my opinion. So did I miss anything? Oh, wait, no. The last year, the DA, Gascon,
yes,
in an effort, George Gascon, I believe, in an effort to get reelected, he did something I think that was popular last year, but now it's not that popular. Is to try to give these guys another hearing. I don't know if it's a hearing, another court date.
Oh, they wanted to be they wanted one of two things to happen: either to be resentenced at what. Taking into the factors of the SA and the other abuses that were done, or to have a whole new trial and have all the new evidence and the old evidence brought in. So that's what they were originally seeking. But now the family seems to be wanting either a resentencing or clemency.
If they are if it is found out without a reasonable doubt that the father essayed them, that still does not get him off the hook because it is illegal to do that as a self-defense measure. So at least that's what the DA. I think the new DA put a wrench in a lot of stuff, but and everything. So let's go over this real quick, if you don't mind. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to kick us
You guys getting sound? Did you hear it?
Yeah.
off. I am going to start recording.
Recording in progress.
All right. This seems to be like a Zoom.
I started recording the session. Thank you all for joining. The format of today's press conference is Tamara Goodell and Anna Maria Baralt are going to share some remarks with you. And then at the very end, we're going to take time for questions. You can submit your questions in the chat or raise your hand and I will call on you as we can. Thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our speakers.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Anna Maria Baralt, and I am currently in my home office. So that means we are going to hope that Amazon does not decide to deliver to my house within the next 45 minutes or so, or you're going to hear my dogs lose their minds. So
there you go, Jules. You have competition with the dog.
With that, I do have some remarks. This is a pretty exciting time for us as the family of Eric and Lyle Menendez. And I'd like to start with Governor Newsom's actions yesterday. They are a positive step forward towards Eric and Lyle's release. We are incredibly grateful that Governor Newsom is paying attention to this case, particularly those of us, those older family members, my mother, Terry Baralt, Joan Vandermolen, Kitty's sister. This is, for our family, it is a huge sigh of relief that someone in a seat of power is paying attention to what we have seen up close since Eric and Lyle have been incarcerated. We have seen their rehabilitation over the last 3 decades with no hope of release until now. Eric and Lyle have changed countless lives since their conviction in 1996. Inmates have seen it, corrections officers have seen it, and now we need the entire criminal justice system to see it. The resentencing process has been a long journey for us. Now with the new directive to the parole board, we are confident that they will determine the brothers are not a risk to public safety, proving what we have said all along. Important in this process is that this is not a political one. We look forward to their transparency and for the findings that will be released for everyone to see.
Who is this lady again? Jules?
She's the brother's cousin. Her mother was Kitty's sister.
Okay. Are they being resentenced? Is the question. We don't know yet.
That happens next month. Next month we'll know.
I guess this is a pitch to Newsom.
Now let's take a look at the criteria the parole board will look at. Number 1 is remorse. Eric and Lyle have expressed immense remorse for their actions that night and in the months after, repeatedly, decade after decade. I can personally attest to that. They look at number 2 is social history. Inmates, corrections officers, and administrators have all gone on record to say Eric and Lyle have been model people while incarcerated. They have run several programs to mentor inmates who they knew would see the freedom that they wouldn't. That is remarkable. Third, plans for the future. The parole board will look at their plans for the future. And Eric and Lyle have already done so much tangible good work while incarcerated for society. If released, they will continue to build on the work they've started. They'll look at institutional behavior. Everything I've just touched on shows that they have gone above and beyond to not only function within the walls of the prison, but improve the culture of that facility through their work. They have improved the community that surrounds them. And then they'll look at their age. You know, Eric and Lyle are both in their 50s. We all are. They have spent the majority of their lives incarcerated. And incredibly, they've managed to build meaningful lives year after year, program after program. And then they'll look at their lack of criminal history.
Okay. With all due respect, yeah, there's a lack of criminal history because you're in jail. I don't know how many crimes you could get away with in jail. She says there's a lack of criminal history. I mean, ending someone is a big one when you were free. Now, when you're in jail, I don't know. Am I off here?
They don't have a prior criminal record outside of making a horrific decision.
That is a very insane, horrific decision. That's like the cream of the crop law-breaking incident. And to say this is, I'm just saying optics, man. Like to say they don't have a criminal record, just this, which is like the worst one, which is the ending of the parents.
As a direct result of the abuse they endured for over a decade. The parole board must also factor in.
Actually, Jules, could you confirm? Because they say they don't have. I think that she meant. Nana says. I think they meant before the endings. Don't they have a criminal? One of them have a record for breaking into his friend's parents' house.
Yes, Lewis. When they were teenagers, that is correct. But she's referring to a criminal history while being incarcerated. And
Okay.
yes, there are plenty of inmates that have criminal histories
Yeah, but
while
she
incarcerated.
is saying that they had nothing before the ending. So I'm just going by what she's saying.
The parole board must also factor in the fact that Eric and Lyle were still kids at the time of their actions. So Lyle was 21 and Eric.
Oh, miss me with that shit. 21's an adult. 18's an adult.
Was 18 at the time of the killings. There is overwhelming scientific research that proves the human brain, especially areas that regulate impulse control and decision making, is not fully developed until someone is in their mid-20s. As the mother of a 17 and 18-year-old boys, I can attest to that as well. Both the legislature and the courts have recognized that youthful offenders have diminished moral culpability.
So, ma'am, and feel free to push back on me. If using her argument, then they could have committed the crimes for greed because their brains aren't fully developed and they're not thinking of what they're doing. So when you're sitting there saying that people's brains aren't developed till they're 25 and this crime was committed at the age of 18 and 21, they could have easily been under the illusion that I'm going to end my parents and take their inheritance. And they would have justified that. And plus, you're saying the brain's not developed. So did they lie on the stand? Which one is it? I'm going by her thing.
Yes, but it's
Her
but,
argument. She's saying she's
but
pretty
it's
much saying that.
but medically, it's a fact. Okay, I can
What?
make a phone call right now and get a forensic psychologist to come on your show right now that will attest to what she is saying is true about the brain's development.
She just destroyed her own case.
And especially in males.
She just destroyed her own case.
No, she did not.
Then why would a male that the brain's not fully developed be under oath at a trial? They'd be lying.
No.
They can be because their brain's not developed.
Oh my God.
It's true though. She just said, scientifically speaking, the brain's not developed until you're 25, right?
Correct. And that's a true
Why
statement.
am I trusting these guys' testimony in the first place? You know what I mean?
And a greater capacity for rehabilitation based on widely accepted scientific evidence on adolescent brain development. They must take that into consideration.
I just did.
I'll pass it over to Tamara.
Thanks, Anna Maria. I just really want to go over everything that they have done since they were convicted in 1996. I think it's incredibly important to stress that Eric and Lyle went into prison, into incarceration during their formative years, and have, for all intents and purposes, created careers for themselves while they have been incarcerated. And that is incredibly moving for all of us. While incarcerated, Eric has created and led several impactful programs, which I will detail now. The Life Care and Hospice Connections Program, which is an ADA awareness and support group assisting disabled and elderly inmates while educating others about.
Wendy is saying that she misses Lewis and Jules's banter. Well, Wendy, I'm here to tell you this is just the fucking beginning.
No,
You
We
better
went-
bookmark this channel.
no,
It's
Lewis.
gonna get worse.
No,
This
Lewis.
shit's
We
gonna get
went,
worse.
no, Lewis. We went down that road before. We're not doing a U-turn. We're not.
It's not a U-turn. These people want us to fucking kill each other for entertainment. Hey, I used to have to bring Fuzz in here because she's from Jersey.
She's
It
my
just
girl.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's continue with this.
The challenges faced by less able peers. The Victim Impact and Empathy Program, or VIVE, is a workshop fostering understanding and empathy by incorporating victim impact elements from the life care and hospice curriculum. Alternatives to Violence Project, AVP, is a series of workshops promoting nonviolent conflict resolution, self-awareness, empathy, and community building. The Starlight Peace Project is a program capturing images of peace in areas affected by violence. It has successfully coordinated 30 event leaders and engaged over 150 participants. Eric has also led 12-step and meditation classes. This combines the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous with mindfulness, meditation, and meditation practices. Insight meditation workshops, which introduces inmates to the physical, emotional, and spiritual benefits of mindfulness meditation. Eric has received dozens of commendations from prison supervisors for his leadership, mentorship, and his service to fellow inmates, which are all detailed in the People's Motion requesting 1172.1, recall of sentence and resentencing hearing. And with that, I will let Anne Maria go into Lyle's details of rehabilitation.
Thanks, Tamara. Lyle has also made significant contributions, creating and leading impactful programs. The Adverse Childhood Experience in Rehabilitation, ACER program, is a program helping offenders explore their childhood experiences and impact and contributions to criminal behavior. The Green Space Project spearheaded the beautification of prison spaces through murals and landscaping, reducing recidivism by normalizing the prison environment. Over 100 inmates.
Now, I'm going to piss off people again with this. I know the purpose of this conference for them is to remind the governor how many great things they've done and how they've rehabilitated themselves, right? But there is a lot of money. If these two guys get out and they start a reality show, woo, they're going to be making a lot of money on there. So I don't know. There is a potential conflict of interest, or you know what? This family could just love their blood and be wanting to bat for them. I see both sides. But
participated, marking the first time prison administration entrusted an inmate to lead such a redesign. The Rehabilitation Through Beautification Project, RTB, a volunteer effort supporting the Green Space Project through mural painting and landscaping. The Youth LWAP Ally, a mentoring group for youth offenders with life without parole sentences, guiding others in their rehabilitation journeys. And the Wire Bulletin, an inmate advisory bulletin fostering communication between the Inmate Advisory Council to the wider inmate population. Their achievements, both Eric and Lyle, would be inspiring for anyone, but as incarcerated individuals, they are truly amazing. And now I want to talk about the narratives painted by the district attorney at the press conference, which closely illustrated those present.
Okay, so I believe she's going to be talking about the DA. We ran that press conference last week. If you guys didn't see it, you could always go back and check it out. He did make a very damning case of why they should not be resentenced. And I'm very interested to see what their reasoning is, why he was wrong. So we're going to get into that now.
Presented at the first trial. First, no one is disputing the crime. Not even Eric and Lyle. All we are asking.
Well, they did 5 times. They changed their story, but
Louis, you got to knock that crap off.
But it is true. I'm trying to say it is. Did they change the story 5 times? Yay or nay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Then what am I supposed to knock off? They denied it before. They denied it. They denied the entire story until they got really deep in it. It looks like that. Can we agree on that?
I agree on that, but still, you're taking something that happened in August of 1989 to where are we? The month of February of 2025. Things are different. Things are different today.
Okay, but let's agree on we're being awfully generous. We weren't the ones that had our face blown off to say these 2 should just go off. I mean, we could say that, but we weren't the ones, the victims here. You know what I mean?
The only thing that I'm going to say is if I could have, I would have. I so wanted to at the time for me, but my abuser saved me in the way of never having to do that because they self-deleted themselves.
All right, let's get into this right here.
For is the DA to consider their prison record as a whole, their rehabilitation, the remorse they have expressed, and the new evidence the habeas petition introduces, which corroborates Eric and Lyle's story. While we are not surprised that the district attorney took the stance that he did with the habeas petition, we were surprised to see it litigated the way that it was in the press, with the press. The danger of presenting that 1990s narrative under today's laws and modern understanding of trauma is that it ignores how far we have come in recognizing the long-term effects of abuse and the systemic barriers that keep victims silent. Today, we understand that trauma rewires the brain and shapes a person's actions and decisions in ways that were not fully appreciated decades ago. California law has evolved to reflect this, acknowledging that childhood abuse profoundly impacts behavior and should be a critical factor in the justice system. It's not just about speaking out, because for many survivors, that is an impossible task. The very act of acknowledging their trauma can take years, sometimes a lifetime. The expectation that
Jules, you're pounding your computer too hard. Is that you?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. It happens.
Victims should have immediately disclosed their abuse ignores the reality of trauma. Many survivors struggle with self-blame, fear, and shame, all of which are exacerbated by a system that has historically dismissed their voices. While we acknowledge that the district attorney has a duty to prosecute cases based on the law, we must ask, Is he applying the law as it exists today with a modern trauma-informed understanding? Or is he relying on an outdated, harmful framework that has since been rejected? While we don't want to focus too much more on his comments on the habeas petition, we do want to take a moment and address his comments on the letter Eric sent to Andy and Roy Rosello's testimony.
This is a good one. Important.
Andy received the letter in December of 1988. The time for proving the authenticity of the letter will be discussed in court. But what we can say now is that Andy was a teenage boy at the time. He was 15, by the way. Actually, I think he was still 14. With all of the mounds of evidence presented in the first trial, it's only natural for a teenage boy to not realize he is sitting on critical evidence. Andy wasn't a lawyer. He wasn't even an adult.
Okay, but was that letter that they have now, it was a copy of the letter from what I understand, or am I wrong? Do you know?
The DA's office has a copy of it. Yes, the original is I forget, so I don't want to quote where the original actually is right at this moment, but I do know that after Andy died, I don't remember how much time had passed, but his mother was finally going through her son's personal belongings and sorting things and stuff, and she came across the letter. She came across a bunch of correspondence between all of the cousins, and she came across the letter that he wrote to Andy. So this letter is not new. This letter has been around.
But it's been around since 2016, right?
I think he died in 2009, and then it was after that is when the mother found it.
The DA made it seem like there's no way that it was a copy. I could be wrong. I may have misheard, but again,
if you were in their shoes, okay, look at it this way. If you were in their shoes, would you give the DA that does not want your family member released under any circumstances, would you give them the original for in fear of it might get lost, destroyed, misplaced, whatever? I wouldn't.
Well, first of all, you don't give a DA evidence. You give it to the prosecutor. So
that's the DA. That's the DA, Lewis.
Oh, okay.
The district attorney is the prosecutor.
Oh, wait a minute, though. He's new to the picture. The letter was around before.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Would you turn it over to the people?
Yeah, you're supposed to. Well, if that's the question, I would. You're supposed to. So you don't submit tampered evidence.
Who said it's tampered?
It's a copy.
A copy doesn't mean it's tampered. It's a photocopy.
But you can't authenticate the ink, handwriting, or anything. Or the date it was made.
Yes, you can. You certainly can.
Well, listen, I'm not opposed to
in
them.
Today's world and technology, yes, they can. They can most certainly
Jennifer's happy because he got me. Jennifer's happy because you got me with something. Look, Jennifer, shame on you. Listen, I don't know if this letter's authentic. Photocopies can't be proven. I don't know. Why wouldn't you give the original evidence? I've never heard of.
Well, but you don't have to test the damn paper and ink, okay?
Yeah, you do because
no, that's not what's in question. You can test the handwriting. You get a handwriting expert. Listen, you know how many copies of John Benet Ramsey's mother, Patsy Ramsey's handwriting was compared to the quote unquote ransom letter, and they used photocopies of it?
No.
Come on. Well, then you don't.
The date of this letter is extremely important to this case. Number one. Number two, as far as authenticators of handwriting, or autographs or signatures, you're speaking to the wrong person in the debate. I'll tell you why. There's a place called, I'm not even going to mention the company, but it's a very prestigious autograph authenticator. When you get authenticated, an autograph authenticated by them, your product goes up like $300. Billy D. Williams was at a convention where those authenticators were. Billy D. Williams is the guy who played Lando Calrissian in Star Wars. He was signing autographs, and as a joke, in front of a lot of people, he signed a picture of himself. He had a picture of him in Star Wars. He signed it and goes to one of his guys, take it to that company and have them authenticated. He walked over there, and the guy said it wasn't real. So mistakes could happen there. And that's with the original print. I don't know. Look, it's like this. If there was a gun used, you don't send a 3D copy of the gun to the DA.
I'm sorry, Louis. I didn't hear what your last statement was.
I said thank you for agreeing with me.
To pose the question now, decades later after he passed, of why wasn't the letter submitted back then, is like asking a teenager who got in a fender bender, why didn't you call the police to file a report?
Well, the letter has not been submitted because according to the DA, it was a copy, unless I'm wrong.
Because a teenager doesn't know any better. He didn't realize how vital that letter would be to the case. Second, he indicated that Roy Rosello's testimony doesn't meet the habeas standards because he didn't come forward sooner. The whole point of a habeas petition is to include new evidence, and Roy coming out to share his story in his own time is new evidence. Again, how many victims have stayed silent because of the systems that are designed to silence and dismiss them? Let's bring the case back to 2025. Tamara.
Thanks again. It is also critically relevant to discuss the fact that California law increasingly acknowledges that youthfulness impacts decision-making, often leading young people to have irrationally or dishonestly.
This is not a good argument at all. Were they advised on this? To say that young men in their 20s don't have rational decisions, and then seeing what they're accused of, I don't know, man. Okay.
In stressful and traumatic.
You get what I'm saying, right, Fuzz? It's like they want both sides. Was their testimony legit about the essay or not? And if it was, why are you telling me now that young people lie? I don't get it.
Such youthful missteps should not overshadow or negate subsequent truthful disclosures. We, including California state law and every clinical psychologist, now understand that trauma, especially at a young age, can rewire someone's brain. The trauma, like Eric and Lyle endured, cripples victims' ability to think rationally before, during, and after taking action. Today, there's overwhelming evidence of adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, which show that early exposure to severe abuse fundamentally alters a person's mental and emotional behavior. If Eric and Lyle were tried today, California law would have compelled Hackman's office to consider the abuse that molded every fiber of their being. But Eric and Lyle are not kids anymore. They are grown men who have transformed their lives while incarcerated. We wish the DA had spoken about the programs that they have spearheaded, the support groups that they have started, the higher learning that they have pursued, and the numerous other inmates that they have inspired. Through their work, Eric and Lyle have shown who they really are, not who Jose and Kitty made them. They did all of this while fully knowing it may not mean a release for them, but a difference for those with whom they have served time. Eric and Lyle have dedicated themselves to extensive rehabilitation, education, and service during their incarceration, earning widespread admiration from peers and prison staff. And it's so important to emphasize that all of these actions and rehabilitation activities that they have completed were all done without any hope of being released. And with that, I'll let Anna Maria talk about more growth and leadership.
I need to unmute myself. Eric and Lyle's remarkable growth, leadership, and rehabilitation efforts underscore their readiness to lead meaningful.
Do you all in the comments think that Governor Newsom's going to take time out of his day of greasing his hair to watch this 40-minute thing? What do you all think?
No.
I don't think so.
No, because his group, and just by the way, if I drop off, it's because my laptop is going to die any second. And
you always have an excuse to mess up the show, don't you?
All right, fine. I'll get up off my fat ass and go to the computer table and plug it in.
I'm kidding. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
The family members met with not Newsom, but his people, I guess, on Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find the cord. Where's the cord? Hang on, Louis. I'm trying to get the cord.
Guys, Jules is using the restroom right now. Please hang on.
No, I'm getting the cord, you asshole.
You told me the cord's in the restroom.
I didn't say that. Shut up. Okay, I'm plugged in. Let me put a light on.
I have all day.
Okay.
There's only 400.
All right, hang on, wait. Hey!
By the way, folks, tonight, Grayson Report. She's going to be talking about vampires, Nosferatu. Grayson Report tonight. Don't forget to check out that show. It's going to be pretty good.
I hate Vertical. Just saying, I hate it. But all right.
Well, Vertical allows more people, but I am going to start going, back and forth a little more and everything. But we have enjoyed a massive amount of progress with the Vertical stuff. But what were you going to say, or should I continue this?
I don't remember. You got me so flustered because my laptop battery was dying.
Thank God.
And I wasn't prepared for this. I thought I was just going to be, observing like everyone else, so whatever.
Hey,
Louis, just shut up.
Shut up. Yeah.
Shut up, Louis.
Productive lives outside of prison. Let's keep focusing on this. For our family, it has been 3 painful decades. We have been forced to live through the trauma every day since August 20th, 1989. We have become victims in this process. We have been laughed at, ridiculed, and forced to relive the pain over and over again. We ask that people visit our coalition page at justiceforericandlyle.org and sign the petition that's there. Thank you so much for your time. We'll open it up for questions.
All right, let's see who asked the question.
Again, as a reminder, please either raise your hand or submit your question to in the Q&A box that is at the bottom of the screen, and we will answer your questions.
Yeah, I don't know. This might be a train
you have
wreck.
the floor.
No, Louis, time out for a second.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
There's a question in the chat in regards who these people are. The woman with the grayish hair and glasses, that's Kitty Menendez's niece, her sister's daughter. The woman with the dark hair is Jose Menendez's niece. I don't remember though if it's the sister's daughter or if it's one of the brother's daughters. But so there's one cousin from each side of the family.
All right, and then now they're getting questions. They're taking questions. By the way, folks, could you all subscribe? Get us to 100,000. I think we could do that right now as we speak. 100,000. I have a good feeling. Use the force.
Yes, please, y'all. If you're not subbed, it's free to do. Just do it.
I may just charge. Maybe I'll get there quicker.
No, don't do that.
Tim, you're actually a little muffled.
How's that?
Much better.
Okay. I was wondering if each of you could reflect a little bit on their evolution in prison. And what I'm trying to get at is, was there like a specific turning point for each where they were at a crossroads and they decided to go in the direction of trying to turn their lives around? Because I imagine they didn't walk in the first day of their sentence and they're doing all these wonderful things. So I was wondering, was there a crossroads or a turning point where they went in that direction? If you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't think they were sentenced, stepped into the cell, about to experience a day in there, and then go, oh, we're going to change these are the programs we're going to go into. No, I don't think they did that. What a weird question.
I'll take this first. I don't know that I can put a date. I can timestamp that. For sure, Tim, you're right that there was those early years in level 4 maximum security were rough. Were rough for them. Their experiences were rough. They were finding themselves as adults. Never mind. They were. This
is what I'm sorry. They were adults, ma'am, and you're trying to play to the masses by implying that they were kids. Yeah, they were adults. One was 18, one was 21. You're in a lot of countries, 12 is an adult. So some states, I believe 12 is the age of consent. Is it 13 or some crazy shit?
So, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe in some other countries, but not in the U.S.
There are some U.S. states that are a little bit low, man. A lot low.
Not that low.
No, there's some stupid shit. I don't know. I'm from L.A. It's 18 and over. But to say they're not adults, come on, stop the propaganda.
Were rough. They were finding themselves as adults. Never mind. They were adolescents when they went into prison, so that was a tough evolution for them. I can tell you that I remember a moment in 2006. So this is now almost 20 years ago. When I was communicating with Lyle, and he sent me a letter that I will never forget, because it was.
By the way, an adolescent is a teenager. Well, 18 is a teenager, but she spoke in plural. The oldest one was 21. So I don't know.
It felt different. It felt he said, and this is sort of burned in my memory, so I know it by heart. And he said, "I need you to understand that I recognize my actions are your personal tragedy, and that I know I can never take it back, but I will spend the rest of my life trying to make it better." And it was so stunning to me. I had seen him growing, but it was for me, it marked like this was a man who was taking complete ownership, complete accountability.
Now they're a man.
And it's really been a beautiful thing to see their journeys.
I think just to add to that, in conversations with Eric, it's been not, to your same point, that wasn't necessarily one date. It was the result of a culmination of experiences and the witnessing of some very violent interactions within the prison system. And Eric, they made a very conscious decision to understand that he had to make the most of where he was and made some decisions based on what he was seeing around him, and whether it was regarding poor prison conditions or poor treatment of inmates. He really wanted to work towards how can I create a better place, not just for myself where I can exist, but how can I also affect those positively with the, those around me.
Thank you both. I'm going to call on Matt next.
People
Matt, you have the floor.
Hi, folks. Thanks for taking this. And thank you for doing this press conference. I would just like to hear your reactions to Gavin Newsom's announcement yesterday that he is setting up this risk assessment investigation into whether the brothers would pose a risk if they were released, because in many ways that circumvents LADA Nathan Hackman's decision on resentencing. I mean, almost effectively it sets resentencing in motion. And I wanted to get your impressions when you first heard that news.
I'll take this. I was thrilled. First of all, I had a meeting with some of the members of the governor's office on Monday, where I was told, it was thrilling. Although the beginning of the meeting was, we're not granting clemency, so keep your expectations in check. I was like, okay. But we are taking this step and we are providing risk assessment. And it was, there were definitely some caveats, like there are no guarantees. So remember that, this is not a guaranteed process. This is a very rigorous process that we are going to go through, because it is very important to California that they have a low recidivism rate. So they will be doing a very rigorous and full process with it. But this is huge. I mean, this is huge. And I cannot thank Governor Newsom enough for stepping in and initiating this process. We as a family, we understand that this is not without professional risk for him. So for him to step in and say, okay, let's actually find out if this is doable. Let's do a risk analysis.
Jalissa is really.
And then we can move forward. It's a huge relief. It's a huge relief to us.
Anna Maria, I have to ask you, can you take us into that room in that moment? Were there audible gasps? Were people, sort of like high-fiving? What was that mood like, and how did you and the people with you react?
Well, it was a very small group of people, like 3 people. And it was virtual. So I would have been high-fiving the air.
Yeah, I think she's kissing Newsom's ass because, he's got the power right now. She's doing the right thing for her argument.
And so I couldn't be high-fiving. I certainly gasped in relief. And it was, that was great news. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Veronica, I'm going to call on you next.
Hi there. Can you hear me okay? Thank you so much for calling on me.
I know what they're trying to do, and maybe it's from the bottom of their heart and everything, but I don't know if this is a good press conference. I believe it's too long, and I think a lawyer should have been like kind of directing it a little, managing it, because I think I know people on the chat are probably thinking I'm nuts, I'm crazy, and probably the only people agreeing with me is probably Fuzz, and that's it. Maybe a couple others, but when you're trying to argue that the mindset of the age they were is not, their minds are not developed at all, and they are irrational people, and then your next argument is they're not lying about the essay, I think it kind of like ruins it a little bit, because it's like kind of saying, look, you can't trust the Menendez brothers when they testified because their brains weren't developed, but you should trust the Menendez brothers when they testified. I don't even know if that makes sense, but
That it doesn't make sense because Lewis, that's not what she said. She said that's not what she said.
No, she did say that. Did she say that it's scientifically proven that your brain's not developed till you're 25 in males?
That's true, yes, but that
When
had
did they
nothing to
testify?
do. But
How
that
old
has
were they?
nothing to do. Oh God, I can't.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying? Some people are actually agreeing with me. It's contradictory.
No, everybody's agreeing with you. I'm the minority here. You're not.
I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't know about the developed brain thing. I do know that politicians do pander to younger people because they're stupid. And I have heard that the brain's not developed, but she's trying to say, I'm agreeing with you, Jules. Okay. She's agreeing with you. There you go. You got one.
No, yeah.
And again, look, and I'm not going to knock these ladies. I think they're trying to do the right thing for their family and everything. But I think that the press conference should have been much shorter because Governor Newsom's not going to be watching this.
No, of course not. He's got people. He's not watching this. He's got people to do that for him.
It's too long though. It's way too long.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Message should have been condensed and everything.
So I'm curious about the relationship that you have with District Attorney Nathan Hackman, seemingly very...
Okay. Jennifer says, I studied human development in college. Then you would agree with me, Jennifer, that it is a legitimate theory that someone may have ended their parents to inherit their millions, especially when you're young and dumb. That could have happened, right? And actually thinking you could get away with it.
Different than the relationship that you had with the former DA, George Gascon. Can you comment on the decision to not recommend a retrial? Have you spoken with him? If not, do you have a message for Nathan Hackman?
But how do we know, Jennifer, why are we all saying they're remorseful? I haven't seen an interview with them to prove that they're remorseful. All I hear is people that have a vented interest and then being released saying that they're remorseful.
Lewis, they did several podcasts from very recently from the prison.
Okay, and they sounded good.
Yes, in my opinion, yes. And if you want, I will find that link and send it to you, and you can listen to it yourself.
Yeah.
Joe, the relationship is absolutely different. Gascon seemed much more open to modern thought processes of, where is the law today? What is compassionate?
Yeah, Gascon's a piece of shit. So, sorry. Gascon is a piece of shit. Sorry. So I wouldn't cite him as a hero.
Look like, and what does trauma informed practice look like? Very honestly, what we heard from the LADA's office the other day felt very disparaging. It felt like a continuation of the narrative from 1989, and very honestly, it was very frustrating. There have been so many developments that could have been brought into focus, and it was incredibly disappointing to hear that there was no mention of the rehabilitation, no mention of the positive contributions that Eric and Lyle have made to the prison system. And I say system because they have been in multiple facilities, each of them. So it's really important to recognize that and to know that they have had so many recognitions and commendations from the officers, and that went unnoticed by him, or at least he made it seem that way. So it was very, very disappointing, in my honest opinion. So, Anna Marie, I'll let you speak to that.
Well, first of all, with the last administration, we worked with Brock and Nancy, were the ones who headed up that resentencing group, and that they were tremendous. They were really supportive, and they were very well informed about trauma. I think the press conference with the district attorney last Friday it felt extra hurtful because it was only a few weeks ago that dozens of us sat in his office and described to him the horror of being in this victim's family, with 35 years of being re-traumatized over and over and over. With my 85-year-old mother with cancer sitting 10 feet away from him, literally sobbing in front of him. And then to see him decide to go make a press conference that didn't have to be a press conference, and just in gruesome.
He pulled facts. Maybe he didn't include the rehabilitation stuff, but I think didn't they have like 2 press conferences dedicated to that before? So he's countering it, unless he lied. Jules, did the new DA mislead?
Yes, he did.
Okay, where did he mislead?
He misled on a lot of facts. To say that there is no new evidence, I'm sorry, but that's incorrect.
Which evidence did he exclude?
The letter. He excluded Roy.
He did mention the letter.
Huh? He
did mention the letter.
Yes, he excluded it as new evidence, and it is new.
Didn't. He said there's a new letter that he said it is out there. He actually overwrote it. He's not allowing it, or
he's excluding it. He says it doesn't meet his criteria of being.
So it cannot be presented in a retrial at all.
Well, according to him, but he's wrong. He's misrepresenting the facts, just like John Lewin misrepresented the facts in the ASAP Rocky trial. Everybody wants to think that prosecutors are 100% correct all the time, and that there's no corruption. No, that's just plain wrong.
What was the name of the cousin that wrote the letter, allegedly?
Andy.
Okay.
Andy.
So they're gonna go and get this, folks. Here's the problem. You gotta admit there's a problem here. We found this letter that's a smoking red gun. All right, they go, okay, cool.
It's not just a letter. It's Roy from Menudo that came.
Hold on, let's get to the letter first. We have this letter that proves the brothers were essayed. Wow. We just found it. Okay, who wrote it? Cousin Andy. Okay, could he have testified to it? No, he's dead.
No, Andy didn't write it. Andy was the recipient of the letter.
I just asked you who wrote it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Well, then I didn't hear it. Right? It was Lyle. Lyle wrote it to Andy.
Oh, okay, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, now it's whatever.
No, it's not, because if that letter, Lyle wrote it to Andy?
In 1988.
But it's a copy of the letter. So do they have the original letter? Lyle has it?
The family has it.
So they could actually go in trial and authenticate it.
Probably, yeah. Knowing that all the odds are against you, would you turn over anything original to the DA's office?
If you're a DA, would you tamper with evidence?
No, you would not. That is so wrong on so many levels. You would not give that stuff to the DA. You would submit it to your attorney. You
That's
would
what I
submit
said
to
originally.
your
You're a defense attorney. That's when you said no. The DA.
no, the DA, district attorney. That's the prosecutor.
Earlier, that's what I said. Listen, the defense needs to present that letter, and you said no, it belongs to the DA.
No. When you were saying DA, I thought you were talking about the district attorney equals DA.
Well, he said, from what I remember, that there's a copy of the letter and it can't be authenticated. You're saying he's wrong.
He's wrong.
So what's to stop them from just presenting it during another trial?
Well, they got to get one first, don't
Well,
they?
I do believe they should get one. And I don't care how much I don't care it costs a lot of money or whatever, but
I don't see
and
them
present
getting
all the evidence, everything.
I don't see that happening. I don't see the judge agreeing to a new trial. I don't.
What would be their basis?
For a new trial?
Yeah.
They want to submit Roy's testimony. They want to submit the letter, and they want to submit new psychiatric forensic psychologists and psychiatrists to testify to the impact of what SA can do, and blah blah blah, all of that. They want, yes, they would prefer a new trial, but I don't think the judge is going to do it. I don't think so.
I think they should. By the way, Wendy, you got it's a Puerto Rican band. We're not all Mexican.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, it's a Puerto Rican band.
Yeah, Menudo was a Puerto Rican band, not a Mexican band. Like the Beatles weren't Italian. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the boy band from the 60s, coming straight from Sicily, the Beatles. All right.
A bit embellished. There were details that weren't even accurate as far as the original crime scene. So that felt really hurtful to a lot of us. And I do want to say that when I spoke with my cousins, it was very afterwards. They, didn't have a chance to see that live, but their biggest concern was that they had heard about it and how were we doing, because they knew that it was that would have been gut wrenching for us, and it was. So that's my reaction.
And to piggyback on what Anna Maria said, Eric had just said, "We need you strong," and they both really mirrored our frustration, but they also said, "Let it go. We need to focus on moving forward," and so that is our focus.
Thank you. Hannah, you now have the floor.
Wanky. Hannah has the floor.
Hannah, if you still have a question, I think
Come
you
on,
should be
Hannah.
unmuted.
Come on,
Sorry,
Hannah, let's go.
actually, it's Natalie Morales. I just wanted to follow up on that. You talked about the emotions that Eric and Lyle sort of conveyed in that moment. I'm wondering if you can give us a little more detail as to how they're doing now. Of course, following Friday's news conference from Hackman to then the turn of events yesterday with the governor announcing this risk assessment.
Cautious optimism, I think is really the way to say it. Also, it's been a real learning process for us as a family and for them too, because this is a new process that that the governor is using in California. So they, when we talk about parole boards and going to parole, they have lots of experience with other inmates, seeing them go through that process, understanding what that's about, what it looks like, getting turned down, that type of thing. So they have a really good, clear grasp on that. And so this is a little bit of a newer process, this risk assessment being done through the parole board initiated by the governor. Oh, excuse me. So So I think that they are cautiously optimistic.
Do you think, Jules, do you think they got some, the Beatles are Cuban. Do you think they got some consultation from Garagos before they did this?
I honestly, I don't know. I hope not, because I'm not a big fan of his.
Yeah, but ultimately he's their rep, you know.
Yeah, but he's not the only attorney that's on this. So, you know, if they spoke to anyone, I would hope that it would be one of the other attorneys. I'm just not.
It just feels.
Sure.
Doesn't this feel like they just got together the night before, wrote down a few notes, and then? I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of good,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because it comes from the heart. But then it's also kind of bad because there's like a poke holes at their argument. But
we're all sort of still trying to figure that out.
And just adding to that, one of the things that they are also very aware of is that, and they try to just follow in the lines of caution, they are the first life without parole prisoners on this path. So when we look at any advancements or developments, it's definitely with hope, but also understanding that there are no promises.
Thank you.
yeah,
And I'm going to call on Emily. If you still have a question, you have the floor.
Hi, Emily Valdez here. So there are two remaining options. Well, actually three still, but two more likely remaining options. One would be the resentencing. The other would be the clemency from the governor. How confident, which path do you think is the most likely, and how confident are you that they actually will be released under one of these?
I don't feel qualified to answer that question. I feel like that's a legal team question for me. I don't know what's more likely. I just hope something. That's it.
Agreed. I feel the same. It's I wouldn't even know where to start with that, other than we're just hopeful, and to know that we're now having a clear, direct response from Newsom is just, I think, beyond our expectation at this point. So knowing that there is a timeline that has been started by his initiation of this investigation, we're just holding on to that hope and moving forward as we can.
And do you know if the governor's investigation will be done by the time their next court hearing on March 20th?
That I don't know. I know that they have 90 days, but we have not been given any more information than just knowing that it's been initiated.
Okay. And just for clarification, can you each clarify your relation to Lyle and Eric for me?
Sure. I'm a first cousin. So Jose was my mother's brother.
And I am
she's
a second cousin. My mother is Karen Vandermolen, which has been interviewed multiple times, but then my grandmother is Joan. So
Jamie, you're up next. You have the floor.
Hi. So previously you guys had expressed concerns about conflicts of interest within the DA's office. And earlier you mentioned Nancy and Brock, who, filed we're going to file that lawsuit against the DA's office for discrimination, as well as Milton's lawyer, I think, being hired into the office. Are those still concerns for you guys? Are you doing anything about it? Still calling on someone else to take over the investigation, or what's the status on that?
Those were certainly concerns of ours, but we're not taking any sort of formal steps regarding that. That's one of the reasons we are just so thrilled that Governor Newsom decided to step in and initiate this process himself. We're super, super grateful.
Thank you.
And we're going to do one last question. Edgar, you're going to have the floor.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Edgar Munoz. Have you thought
Skip
of
his
the
picture,
possibility that if the verdict is not in your favor and Eric and Lai continue in prison? And Ana Maria, do you speak Spanish? My newscast is in Spanish.
Muy bien. Yeah. Lo comprendo perfectamente, pero no lo hablo muy bien.
Okay, in English is good.
So the possibility that it doesn't go our way, that's a possibility.
By the way, in case you guys are wondering, her Spanish was completely Spaniard accent, what she said, or Argentinian.
You know, we would be foolish if we did not recognize that, understand that, and emotionally prepare for that. That's a real possibility. You know, I hope not. You know, based on what we communicated today, I think it's quite clear that Lyle and Eric really do meet the standard for this process. So I'm grateful that it's going to be a non-political process. I'm grateful that it's going to be a transparent process, that everybody will have a chance to see the result. But you're right. You're right. There are no guarantees. That was also communicated very clearly from the governor's office. So we'll just have to see the investigation, how it goes, and the results.
Thank you.
And that brings time to an end.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
So, what was your biggest takeaway, Jones?
Well, like I said, there's 3 avenues for them to go down, and the number 1 would be a new trial. I do not believe the judge will grant a new trial. Number 2 is to re-sentence them under today's guidelines. I'm not quite sure the judge will do that either, because the DA's office has to be on board with that, and we know that he's not. So I don't think that's going to happen. And because also add to the fact that the governor spoke now, I think that's going to even give the judge more pause not to grant either one of those requests and dump it in the governor's lap. And I think that that's the only avenue they may have. And again, there's no guarantee that Newsom is going to give them clemency. There's no guarantee. But I think in the end, that's where it's going to fall in the governor's lap. I don't think this judge is going to make any type of a move whatsoever on this.
What's the timeline?
Well, there's a hearing next month in front of the judge, where both sides are going to make their arguments, for a new trial and or resentencing. So the DA's office is going to argue against it, and the defense is going to argue for it. Will a ruling happen immediately from the judge? No, he's probably going to sit on it for a week or 2 before he makes his decision. But again, I would not expect a positive, I'll eat my words if I'm wrong, but I would not expect a positive outcome from either one of those options. And then it'll be passed on, like I said, to the governor's office. And that takes at least 90 days, if not longer. They have an order that the reassessments has to be done. They've got a 90-day order to do that. So even if they get all the the risk assessments, everything done, all the reports done and everything in that 90-day period, yes, it'll go to the governor's office, but that doesn't mean that he's going to read through everything right away. He could sit on it for however long he wants to, these aren't the first inmates that are requesting clemency. So there's that. Yeah,
very well put. Listen, I think it's better if the argument is that they've done their time, and but if you're trying to do the essay thing, that's more difficult to prove, in my opinion. But if you say, look, they've done their time, they're good guys now, I think that's a better argument to convince people. But whatever. I want to thank Emily, Sabrina, Ann, and Denny for all the generous contributions today. Jules has not been feeling well, but she took the time and the effort. Did you fart?
I can't. I'm hot. Okay, I'm sweating.
Yeah, you're sexy. Okay, we get it. But she took the effort to come in here and give us her expert advice. And unfortunately, she was wrong again, and I was right. But she can't win everything. All right, guys, we'll be back. You're going to be redirected to Grayson Report, and we'll talk later. All right, nerd out.